Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl Candace here from Swipes and Giggles, here to give you the 411 on online dating and a little bit more. And you know me, it's your girl Candy, and I am back with another recap for Insecure Season 4, Episode 5, which is this episode really did tick me off. There was really no substance to the episode. There was nothing that gave me any oomph from it. It was very, how do I say, elongated for no apparent reason. The problem that I had most of the episode is it was so scene jumpy. We almost didn't stay in a scene for that long to really get what we wanted. But there was a reason for it, and I understand it, but it was just so scene jumpy, and it was just too much back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I feel like there was like one thing we could have stayed on more, but that's besides the point. And before I get into this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that you gave me on the last recap video that I did. I truly do appreciate it. But let's get into this episode. So this video might be shorter than what I usually do, which is perfectly fine because I be rambling my mouth. But that's because this episode really didn't have anything in it. There was no luster. There was lack of, complete substance in the storyline of this episode. There was just like that one continuous thing of like what we've been going through with Molly and Issa, determining like what's going on with their relationship. Other than that, there was nothing else focused on besides Molly and Issa. So what I'm giving to you could have been done in like 10 to 20 minutes, but we'll see how it plays out. So I'm going to rush through stuff that really isn't that big or important to the storyline. I know that I usually detail every single little thing, but there, like I said, this episode kind of pissed me off. I was just literally sitting there like, oh my God, like, can we move on and figure out what else is happening? And also, I double spaced my notes, as you can see, and I only used 2 pages. Usually I use 3, almost going on 4. So that goes to show how much lack of information was in this episode, but we could just get to our main point. So we start off the episode with Issa confirming Schoolboy Q for her block party. She's interrupted by her tenants at her complex because the water has been turned off. We then jump into, there's that, the first 3 seconds. We then jump into Andrew coming over to Molly's to, basically have a nightcap and spend the night, just hang out. Molly is too worried and too busy about work. They go in the bedroom to get it on. Molly's like, I can't even take my mind off of it. Andrew could feel it. So Molly's like, well, just give me to 9 p.m. So I'm thinking he came in the door maybe at 8:30 even. And she's like, give me till 9. I'll be right back. She goes to finish her work. When she's done, it's 1:42 in the morning. She goes back into the bed, and luckily Andrew wakes up to give her some D. We then jump back into Issa finishing up some work for the block party, and the company for the flyers calls her like, yo, where's the money and the proof for the flyer? We need that. She's like, okay, I'm going to get it to you as soon as I can. I didn't forget. He's like, it needs to be in by 5 p.m. Issa text Condola like, hey, I just want to know if you approve the blueprint or the print view, whatever you want to call it, for the flyer that we have to print out. She then calls her. She goes straight to voicemail. She leaves her a nice voicemail saying like, I just need his approval. Now, pause in the storyline. If you remember last week, Condola and Lawrence left off on a weird, almost tension-filled moment where Lawrence feels like Condela's friend Vicky was basically telling him what Condela tells her, which is Lawrence is just basically a F buddy and he's just there to have a good time. And then he confronted Condola like, you wouldn't want to get married or anything. And she's like, I just got divorced 1.5 years ago. Why would I want to get married? That's not even on my brain as of right now. And she says, well, if anybody has any exes to worry about, it's you and Issa, because if Issa did not cheat on you, you probably would still be together. He's like, well, I don't know about that. She goes, but if she didn't, would you still be together? And then we ended the episode with Lawrence kind of sort of basically sliding into Issa's DMs, but it wasn't really that deep. It was just him laughing and replying to her Instagram story about her Thanksgiving with Amal. So she texted her, Issa, going back into the story, Issa then texted Condola, like, hey, I gave you a call. And so we know this is kind of like early in the day because he says you have until 5 p.m. So we got to know it's probably early in the day. We jump over to Molly at work with two other co-workers. They have a really big case that they have to work on. One co-worker has to cancel. The other one's like, oh, I can stay. Molly says, oh, I can stay too. I'll just cancel. With Andrew, they're like, well, aren't you going to a what is it called? A listening party or something like that? And Molly's like, oh, it's okay. Andrew, my man, he understands me. He understands that I be busy. He understands. He gets it. We're flexible. Molly, nobody cares. You finally have a man who's willing to deal with your obscene, obsessive, just dumb ass. Like, we finally find somebody. And now, my man, like, girl, relax. Dang. This is another thing. Females get a man and they act like there's never been a dude before them and more likely won't be a dude after them. Like, we get it. You have a man in your life. Shut it up. You need to talk about it every 0.5 seconds of the day. Dang. Anyways, we then go over into Issa and Molly going to Tiffany's because baby Simone has been born. So I'm going to say the timeline between this, the last episode and here, let's just say this is the second to third week of December, because the last episode was Thanksgiving. And when finally Issa and Molly stopped arguing over the stupid behind spot, which really made me mad, because if we all went to driving, I didn't go to driving school. I was 18. I was like, I didn't need to go to driving school. Ain't nobody paying for that any which way. But if we all have our license and we all drive and we all know the basic 101 common sense of rules of the road, right? If I see a car is like this in the street, that means they're either pulling out of a spot or they're about to back into a spot. It was parallel parking, 101, all right? Issa found the spot. She went, put her car in position to back up. Molly sees the same spot and then proceeds to try to get in the same spot as Issa. If you see the car is in front of you, because that's my thing, the car's in front of you, Molly. So if you see the car is in front of you, that means that Issa got there first. There's no way Issa got there second when she was the first one there trying to get into the spot. That doesn't make any sense, right? Right. And the way her car was positioned made it seem like she was getting in, right? Right. But because Molly's being a petty boot, she's just being rude. So Molly and Issa meet at the front steps of Tiffany and Derek's house. And, and Molly's like, it's cool. I just parked my car near a church. It's cool. I gave you the spot. Molly's like, what do you mean you gave me the spot? That was my spot to take. So Issa did the me thing and was like, okay, like, it definitely wasn't, but all right, if that's how you feel. Molly kind of aggressively asked her if her yoga mat's at her place still and all this other stuff. And that's when Issa reveals that it's been a couple of weeks since they've really sat and talked about anything. And Issa's like, so sorry that I've been busy these past few weekends. Molly says, yeah, me too. It's been crazy. And they both talk about the murder show that happens within the show and how they don't watch it on Sundays anymore together, but they're going to try to figure out a time that's going to work out for both of them. We get inside the house and Lawrence and Derek are looking over baby Simone. And I love this little piece that they inserted into the show coming from Derek. And Derek basically said, it's so messed up what I did to females before I met Tiffany, because I was just running through them rampant. And those females were someone's daughter. And I was the person messing up and breaking someone's baby, someone's daughter's heart. And this part gets a little weird, but I get what he's saying, where he said, I have to know now that my baby is going to grow up and she's going to get finger plucked by some guy who doesn't like her that much and is probably going to treat her bad. And Lawrence is like, all right, bro, like, I don't need to hear that. But it's understandably true and it's honest that there are times where I feel like us as adults, and those who do have children, tend to forget that how we're treating a person, that's someone's baby. That's someone's son, and that's someone's daughter. And we forget that for a second. And so when we forget that, we forget our own kids. If you have one, because I do not, but if you have children, we forget that we have our own kids. And if you don't have kids, your nieces and nephews and, godchildren, all that. Because you're like, if you've seen someone doing what you do to a person, you would fight them. You would beat them up. You kill them, right? But you're doing it to another person with such ease. And so I like that he put it in a perspective of, this is my baby. I don't want nobody to hurt my baby. But I understand because I've hurt somebody else's baby. So I like that. We move into the living room where we have Issa, Kelly, Tiffany, and Molly helping Tiffany fold baby clothes, baby diapers, cloths, and all that other stuff, and just organize some things. And then Tiffany then goes into talking about childbirth and what it was really like. She then put an excerpt of that she did not feel well after she gave birth. She felt horrible. And because Derek had pressured the doctors to look at her and to check to see if everything was okay, they came to find out that Tiffany had a blood clot. And Molly references Serena Williams because that's the exact thing that happened to Serena Williams. She gave birth to baby, I forgot what the baby's name is. She's a junior, but it's like it's like Alexander or something like that, junior. That when she gave birth to the baby, she didn't feel good. And the doctors kind of basically passed her on to it like, you just had a baby, it's okay. And come to find out she almost died because she had a blood clot. And this is like another little pinpoint and a political moment that we had in the show where they did talk about it, that when it comes to childbirth, Black women, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, are leading in deaths during childbirth. And which is weird because we're in 2020. We're supposed to have, this is Western medicine. We're supposed to have the top notch in America, the top notch of knowledge of medication and what not to do in the world. And it's crazy to me that Black women every day are dying from giving birth to their children because no one is listening to them in the hospital room when they're giving birth. So I like the fact that they touched on that. And Molly then says, I like the fact that Derek advocated for you and that he pushed and that he was there for you. And she goes, just like in my relationship, Andrew, he is there for me and he supports me. And when I have to cancel plans with him, he understands. He understands the career that I have. Like, we're so flexible with each other. So Molly's finishing saying that, and Issa kind of makes a joke, and she's just like, okay, then Jada Pinkett, get your red table on. And Kelly joins in, and Molly's like, what's so funny? Like, I was just saying that it's nice that Derek was there for Tiffany in her time of need. And Issa's like, I know, bruh. I was just making a joke. And here we go again. Molly being sensitive over something that you would have laughed about a couple of weeks ago. And now you're being mad sensitive about it. So Tiffany goes to go check on the baby. And Molly follows suit. And Issa sat down and talked with Kelly. And she goes, I don't want to bring you into this really. But has Molly talked to you about anything? She goes, no. Why? She goes, because everything I do, she's like stepping on my neck. She's being rude about it. Like, I don't know what's going on. So, Kelly made a good observation. Like, maybe she's going through something and she's releasing her stress out on you. I think maybe you guys just talk. There might be just a miscommunication between the two. That's pretty much it. Then we had Lawrence signaling Issa to go outside and have a conversation with him. And that same time, we see Tiffany and Molly in the baby's room, and Molly can look down outside the baby's room and see that Issa and Lawrence are having a conversation. And Molly's like, you see, Issa just loves her life being messy. Like, I told her she likes her life being messy, and she doesn't believe me, but look what she's doing outside right now talking to Lawrence. So Tiffany said some really cute stuff before Molly even brought that up, but it's really not that important. She basically just says, you just have to do what makes you happy. And no one should be taking away or adding to your life if that's not what you want to do. So basically, Molly thought that Issa had talked to Tiffany because that's basically what Issa said. Live your life, do what you want to do what makes you happy, don't stress out about stuff. You make it a big thing about little things, just don't do that. So Molly asked Tiffany, has Issa talked to her? She goes, no, what's going on? She basically explained the situation, and she's just like, she's just acting like everything's okay and that her life is all perfect and that there's nothing going on with it. But then she puts herself in some mess, and after I told her she already has a messy life and that she wants me to be there to help her clean it up and figure it out, and she goes, and I just don't got time for that right now. Sis, who said that you have to be there to have time like that? You're seeing a conversation happen between two exes right now. No, instead of seeing, oh, I wonder what they talked about, you over here casting judgment over nothing right now. And Tiffany says the same thing to Molly that Kelly said to Issa. Maybe it's just a miscommunication right now. Maybe you guys just aren't seeing eye to eye. It's okay. It happens in relationships. We get outside, and Lawrence is asking Issa who she think the baby looked like, and they both say that it looks like Kelly. So then Lawrence, says like, can I tell you something? Can I ask you something? And Issa's like, sure, but she sees her phone is ringing, and oh my God, guys, I forgot one intricate part. I forgot one part. Let's backtrack before they even walked in the house, before Molly and Issa walked in the house. If you guys remember Nathan from season 3, the one who ghosted Issa, he called Issa and she listened to his voicemail because he was calling her, but he had to leave a voicemail. He said, long time no see. I'm sorry how I acted, whatever it was, or what I did to you beforehand. But Andrew told me about the block party, and I kind of just wanted to get the details on it. You don't need to call me back. I just want to let you know, like, I'm excited that you're doing this, and I hope you're having a good time and having a good life. Basically on some, sorry I fucked up, but it is what it is. I'm going to see you there, though. And just left it at that, pretty much. So moving forward, Lawrence is about to tell Issa what he wants. And I believe what Lawrence wants to tell Issa is, do you ever think about us? Do you think that we still could be together had we not broken up? Do you ever think about us having a second chance? There's something relationship wise he was gonna ask her, I'm sure, but it was interrupted by a phone call from, I guess, one of the people who's putting the block party on with Issa, and Issa finds out that Schoolboy Q dropped out as the headliner for the block party. Because of that, she rushes upstairs, and they're like, well, where's Issa? And Molly's like, not here again. So Issa rushes into the room, and she's like, guys, I have to go. At the same time, Molly sees Lawrence leaving out the gate and goes, like, she's giving her a side eye, like, you think I'm leaving in a rush to go be with Lawrence? I'm your best friend. That's where you think this is going? I haven't even talked to you about me and Lawrence being together, having feelings for each other, or nothing. I've been talking to you about, well, actually, Issa hasn't been talking to Molly about Lawrence at all. It's Molly who brings up Lawrence all the time with Condola. So why would you think something's about to happen when I haven't even said anything to you that's going to happen? Me and him were just outside talking. If at any rate, Lawrence could have been outside talking to Issa about a cousin that she remembers, or a family member that he remembers, and they might have been sick and he was telling her about it. You don't know. And you're making a judgment over nothing, And Issa's like, no, something really important just came up. I have to go. I'll talk to you guys later. From that point, I kind of basically forget. Let's see here. Okay. So Issa goes back to her apartment, and she's just like, I'm sorry about that, guys. My brain fart. Issa goes back to her apartment, and she goes into thinking mode. Like, who in the HE double hockey stick can I find to headline my party? She goes to slide into Beyonce's documents, Jesus, DMs, talking about, Beyonce, I love you, girl. I'm about to die. She's like, let me not do that. So I believe I seen her text DJ Mustard, but I'm not sure if she actually sent it through. Then Issa goes through all her contacts. You know how you do when you need something and you know a person that you used to know how to connect back in the day when you knew and talked to them at the same time. So you have to go through your whole entire phone contact list to see how everybody's doing. Basically, my girl was failing at that. And then she started looking up local LA artists. Maybe she could have them open up the show so that way it's not like there might not be a big, huge headliner, but there's at least a bunch of different LA artists that are going to be on stage, and the people who like them and they have some type of following would go to the block party because they like, oh, I want to see them, I like them. So now we see that Andrew and Molly go to dinner, all right? And they're eating dinner, everything's cool. Molly then talks about the plans for the rest of the night. And Andrew's like, oh, sorry, sis, I already made plans with 2 of my friends. And Molly's like, what do you mean you made plans with your friends? Like, I thought we were gonna be together for the night. He goes, yeah, but I don't know when you're free like that or not. So I just made plans for the just in cases. She goes, but I'm here now. Like, why would you make plans knowing that we're supposed to be together? He's like, literally, you don't make time for me. You know, I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in. You've canceled on me a bunch of times. I don't have any me time for you anymore. So, like, what was I supposed to do? And Molly's like, well, I thought you just understood. He goes, I understand you're a busy female. Because I was going to say something else. But at the same time, I'm going to need some man time with my female too. And they basically ended it right there. And the next scene, we jump into Issa calling Molly. So there was an artist that I think Issa was interested in, but they need the Live Nation approval for them to be at the block party or something like that. And apparently Andrew works with Live Nation. Issa calls Molly and she's like, hey girl, can you talk? And Molly's like, hey girl, it's just been a crazy week, blah, 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 let me have you. And I mean, if I answered the phone and I heard somebody talk to me like that, I would have thought this is like a very important rush moment. But Molly felt some type of way that Issa kind of like cut her off talking to her. And she's like, hey, so my headliner for the block party dropped out for whatever reason, and I need a new headliner, and they said that they needed somebody from Live Nation, and because I know someone who knows somebody who knows somebody in Live Nation, I was wondering if you could ask Andrew for me. And Molly, instead of going, okay, says no problem, I can ask him, instead of doing that, she goes, well, why did the headliner drop out? She goes, I'm not too sure. She goes, well, wasn't there a contract? She goes, yeah. She goes, well, he can't just drop out without a contract. He's like, yes, I know. I don't know what happened. She goes, was there something you didn't do right on your part? Did you not make a payment? Did you not put the date right? Did you not do this? Did you not do that? And Issa feels attacked, and because Molly is attacking her. You're basically saying, Issa, are you sure you want incompetent for this happening? Were you being an incompetent person and not doing what you were supposed to do for him to drop out? Like, what was your reason? And Issa's just kind of like, bitch, are you serious? Are you dumb right now? I've been putting on this block party for the past 6 months at this point, and you're asking me why he dropped out? Like, people drop out of their contracts all the time. They have to pay for it at the end of the day, or if it's a nonprofit, but they drop out of contracts all the time. So why are you putting it all on Issa like this was all her fault? Any which rate, Molly agrees to Issa that she would ask Andrew about the block party. And Molly ends up going over to Andrew's. And they end up talking about what their relationship is going to be, what it's like. And Molly, confessed that I haven't had a relationship where I've had to be devoted to that person with their time and everything like that. So this is new to me. Andrew says the same thing. And so they both just agree, like, let's just make sure we try to make time for each other. Molly then ends up calling Issa back, and Issa, is like, oh my God, thank you guys. Thank you. Before she says anything, she goes, thank you so much, Molly. I appreciate you. I love you so, so, so much. I would kill for you, blah, 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 blah. What did Andrew say? Molly's like, I didn't ask him, and I'm not going to. So Issa is a little dumbfounded. She goes, what do you mean you're not going to ask him? She goes, basically what I said. I'm not going to ask him. And she's like, well, why aren't you asking? She goes, because this is a really good and serious relationship for me, and I don't want to bring those two worlds together. And she's like, what? Issa's like, what two worlds, bitch? And I understand that. What two worlds are you talking about that you're gonna bring together? What's the two worlds, Molly? And she's just like, I'm just trying to protect my relationship. Do you get it? So Issa's like, yeah, sure, I get it. And she's like, okay, I have to go to work. And she hangs up on her. And then the next episode is the block party. And so Molly's like, I don't even want to go to this thing. What do you even wear? And Andrew's like, we live in California. It's 75 degrees all the time. What are you talking about? So we get to see how the block party plays out. Now, my thoughts on the episode as a whole, to break it down, y'all already seen from my past episode what I don't like about Molly. Molly right now reminds me of a certain person not currently active in my life, but in my life, that when they feel some or felt some, well, this is a couple of people actually, but when they feel or felt some type of way, instead of conveying it in the most proper way in terms, they get an attitude and they attack you about every little thing you do. If you breathe the wrong way, now, oh, it's a problem. Why you breathing like that? Like, it's like always an issue about something. And I'm not saying because Issa is Issa, I'm like, oh, I'm team Issa. It's because I believe a lot of people have lived through this, whether it's been a relationship or it's a friendship. No. Okay. Whether it's a relationship or a friendship. Sorry, somebody was calling me. It was a relationship or a friendship. You have a point where that person's just getting aggravated and mad over the stupidest things. And it's just like, bro, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Like, get your feelings in check before you try to check me. All right. And Issa try to keep up the same lightheartedness and the same mood. And it's as if Molly's just like, no, I'm not giving you that energy. I don't want to give you that pure energy. You don't deserve it. Like, stop being such a bitch, Molly. Like, the whole episode, I was mad as if I was Issa. Like, as if I was a friend in the group watching it happen. And I couldn't say anything about it because it's not my part of the episode yet. But that's how I felt. And I think it's just pure stupidity how Molly's acting towards Issa. When it comes to Lawrence and Issa, I don't know what Lawrence wants to ask Issa. I don't know what he's going to present to her about the Condola thing. It seems like Condola went absent after Lawrence and her had that conversation, and she's basically ignoring Issa, which I do not like, because they were supposed to keep this light. They weren't supposed to have Lawrence affect their relationship, and Issa kept that word and Condola did not. Condola is taking her frustration and anger and thoughts about Issa out on Issa, and Issa didn't do anything except for just live and exist. So when it comes to this whole entire episode, it really did get me frustrated. I didn't like it. I felt the distance between everyone, and maybe they did that on purpose with so many jump cut scenes that you just felt like, okay, I'm going everywhere. Can we stop and just concentrate on a moment for a second? And I think that's maybe how they wanted you to feel, like as if everything's just moving too fast and there's just so much like happening that you're not able to just sit there and go, what is going on? And I don't think it happened at the end of the episode. Right at the end of the episode, there's that calm, but it's on the phone with Issa and Molly, and that's when we had our stagnant moment, you know. And then also the water wasn't working in the beginning of the day. At the end of the day, Issa's water was brown. So there's that. So as shitty as her day started, it ended even more horrible at the end of that day. And like, to think that was the whole entire day. Well, it was like a day or 2 days together, mixed together, but it's crazy. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this recap. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the love and the likes and the views that you guys have been giving me. Thank you so much. If you want to subscribe, and you want to see more content out of me, I do it all. If you look at my past videos, I do sketches by myself, videos by myself. I do sit down talks, active talks, wherever you want me. That's where you can find me. Just let me know what you would like to see out of me and probably what I can do to make you a permanent and more comfortable viewer, because I do appreciate any person who clicks on any one of my videos, because that means I capture something within your interest. And I really do appreciate that. I'm not like a clout chasing person. It's just I'm a appreciative person, honestly. So thank you guys so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Make sure that you watch out for next Sunday, season 4, episode 6, which will be the block party. At that point, that's going to be in the new year. So technically the block party happened at the beginning of this year before the Rona. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, it was nice swiping with you.